In today's episode, we're going to talk about how the company that you keep and your environment is a factor to your success. Welcome back, everybody, to the Justin and No podcast, where we make knowledge your strongest weapon.
Welcome back, folks. As always, it's a pleasure to have you here. We hope everybody's doing well. As you already know, your boy Just over there, your boy Nas over here. Let's get this rolling.
Yes. So I know you guys been hearing about the thing where, keep the company, that you want to be around for your success, or you are who you keep around.
Absolutely.
You don't understand how much that is a big factor inside of your life. And so on today's episode, we're going to tell you exactly how to achieve what you want in life through the people that you have around you.
Remember, you're always a product of your environment. Whether you like to buy into that philosophy or not, it is the case. We see it time and time again. History proves it, repeats it, and we don't need to fight that. We just want to use that to our advantage.
So usually early on in your life, you really can't dictate your environment. You are from where you're born or where your parents, brought you up and stuff like that. So early on in your life, you really can't dictate your environment, but you can be aware of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately for, I guess, majority of people, we grow up in, tough times, tough environments. There's a big population of below poverty line income families in this country specifically. And those things aren't really in our control. Well, they're actually not at all. And early on in your life, you don't get to choose whether you're around high level thinking people or not. You're going to find yourself growing up in a neighborhood like that, in an area like that. You're going to find yourself around a lot of people that have low aspirations, that have bad behavior, that they don't take action that leads to their goals.
Yeah. And I would say, like, for people that are just starting out in their life, being young and not being able to control their environment, what you need to do is be aware of your surroundings and don't let the surroundings influence your goals and yourself. So if you're around a bunch of people that's doing bad things and you can't really separate yourself from them, just know that yes, what they're doing is bad, but I'm not going to let them peer pressure or influence me into doing such things.
Yeah, it's definitely easier said than done. And like we're gonna keep, hitting on, it's not your fault that you're around these type of people. It's not anybody's fault. It's just the way the cookie crumbled. And unfortunately, that's just the way some things are. But you don't want that to be the reason why you stay behind with them. You don't want to be, all right, so you're early on in your life, you're stuck in school with a lot of other people that come from, major struggles, from hard situations. And it's very easy for those situations to lead them to doing things that aren't productive, to doing things that will set them back in life. And again, you don't get to choose that. And you just want to be able to, I guess, you want to be like a sponge, take that in, but you don't want it to poison you to the point where you can't look past it.
Mm-hmm. And there's probably a lot of people that's in our viewership that's actually in high school or in school of some sort, right? You can't control the people that are around you in school, right? But like I said, you don't make the environment influence you to doing other things. So say if you're around a bunch of kids that don't want to get good grades or want to do, other things other than learning in school, just know that you have to be on top of your goals of what you want for your life and keep on going towards it. Because at the end of the day, your grade is reflected on you, not for the people that influence you to do something. They're not going to get the same grade as you. So if you have it in your head that, yes, I want to go to school and I want to learn and I want to get good grades, despite the fact that most people in your class might be just fools and clowns and want to laugh and all that other things, you can tell yourself, like, okay, I know that the people that they are, right? And I can't remove them from the class. But I know that I come to school to learn, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, up until you're really a college student, a lot of your everyday time is not you don't dictate how you spend it. Going to school, and then, for example, extracurricular activities, you're still around those same people.
Mhm.
You know, even outside of a classroom setting, you're still going to be around those same people. Even friends, like you're going to choose friends early on in your life that you really, really aren't too much of a fan of them, but you don't know that just yet. And slowly that's starting to reveal themselves.
Mhm.
And that's all you want to do. That you just want to be aware of the situation you're in, of the mannerisms, the behavior of the people around you. And as you go through the course of life, you want to start expressing for yourself, for your own reasons. You want to start expressing the environments that make you feel more complete, more positive, more of a go getter, that get you on your hustle more,
Mhm.
that bring positive energy your way. So you start off, you're spending a lot of time around people that, and you don't get to choose that. As you get older, you got to start being mindful of, okay, when I'm around these certain types of people,
Mhm.
I don't get the most out of my day. And then the people who do bring you that good energy, that encouragement, that positive reinforcement, those types of people, you want to start slowly, shifting towards them.
Yes. And I would say that during usually school, like elementary school, a little bit of high school, as soon as you get a little bit older, every single year, you kind of get to dictate more and more of the people and the environments that you put yourself in. So honestly, for me, after high school is when I had a direct choice on the people that I was around and the people and the environments that I was in. You know what I'm saying? Because once you turn like 18, 19, 20, right? If finances give you that option, you could move in an area which is nicer, right? And not around a certain place if your finances allow you to, right?
Yeah.
Or even without finances and even without you having money to do certain things, you can choose the friends that you have around you. Because at the end of the day, once you're outside of school, like say if you don't go to college or if you do go to college, right? Outside of your work hours, right? You choose who you want to be around. Either you want to be by yourself or if you want to be around other people that want to, actually do things in life, right? If you're around a bunch of people that just want to go around and smoke and play and drink and party and expect to go do successful things, it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd like to expand on what you said because I think it's a very, very strong point to be made here. Spending time by yourself. See, we just were mentioning the fact that you can't dictate exactly who you're around for a good portion of your early life. And even though you might not be able to dictate, or you don't have the tools, or you haven't met or been exposed to people coming from other walks of life, you still need to be mindful to the point where, okay, even though I can't find a group of people or the right environment for me yet, you got to be able to be strong and shelter yourself from the negativity. So spending time by yourself, you kind of have to get used to that. That's,
Yeah.
in order to make the most out of this life that you have, you got to shelter yourself from the poison that's out there before you really get to live a life that allows you to express the person you are, the personality you possess, the character you are. So before you get to do all those things, you got to practice how to protect your space, protect your environment. You don't have to choose between good or bad. Sometimes you have to choose between bad or yourself. Spending time by yourself is not as bad as it seems when you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, of course. And I would say this, right? If you liked anything that has been said within this video, please subscribe. We're only here to make you better as a person. And if you're listening to this to any of the podcasts, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music, please give us a follow. All we're trying to do is make you better if within your life. And to say about the topic of where you need to, you know, have solace with yourself and be around yourself first. Listen, let me tell you guys something. And this is something personally that affected me, right? I took my time out to be away from people in order to better know myself and to know the things that I want in my life. Because if you're around people all the time, you're not going to be your true self until you know yourself. So if you don't know yourself and you don't sit down and go over things, your strengths and your weaknesses, and be true with yourself about those things, you won't know what type of environment and people to be around, right? Because truly, if you don't know yourself, and this happens in high school a lot, people try to follow other people because they're not okay with themselves.
They don't really have an identity.
They don't have an identity. So as he said, you need to spend time by yourself to find out your identity. And once you find out your identity, you know how to surround yourself around the right people so that everybody's on the same page. Because it shouldn't be where you're in an environment of people where they don't know you as a person, and then now they're doing things that they don't know that you don't like, because you may be only
Conforming.
Yeah, you can only be conforming to the person's what they like, right? But that's not truly what you want, and they don't know that. You know what I'm saying?
I think a good example of that is, at least I can speak personally. I've had to make the decision of, there's people that I have a massive amount of love for, and I always wish them well, and I always wish them nothing but success. But what I had to do for my own betterment is I had to decide, okay, where I'm trying to go, the course of life that I'm trying to pursue, the way of life, the quality of life that I'm trying to pursue, this person doesn't go hand in hand with that. And you don't have to cut them off for the reason of, oh, I think you're a bad person. If somebody doesn't align with what you're trying to get to, or isn't on the same road as you got to be able to spend time away from that person without it feeling, don't let it make you feel like you're doing something wrong. Like, oh, I cut them off for no reason. That must make me a bad person. Or you don't have to label them as a bad person either. It could be just a neutral thing where I'm trying to get somewhere and we not walking the same path.
Mm-hmm.
We not traveling the same road. And you got to stick to your guns for your own betterment. This all comes back to how bad you really want it for yourself. If you really want it that bad, you got to, sometimes in life, you got to make those tough decisions of, you're my brother, you're my sister, I love you to death. And obviously you don't have to say this to them directly. You could just, this is an internal, reflection, and make that decision of, I can no longer spend this much time of my life with them trying to, find some success. Like, it is what you got to take people for what they are, and you got to find the environment that best suits you,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to eliminate the environment that doesn't suit you. You can't be that person who time and time again is falling in the hands of people that aren't any good for you. Even if they might not be extremely detrimental, they're probably not the best either. And you gotta just come to terms with that and just move forward and know, like, I'm focused and it's grind time, and I got things I'm trying to reach. I got places I'm trying to go. And sorry, I can't lose focus of that because of you.
Of course. And we would like to say that in order to get the goals out of your life, and we just had this conversation, you cannot do it by yourself. It's hard to do it by yourself. It's possible, but it may take you 50 years when you could have took 10 years with other people.
I don't even think it's really possible. I don't really know anybody, but yeah, continue.
But like, you have to stay successful in their own way. So if successful to them is just making $100,000 a year, they could do that by themselves. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to be truly successful, as in, being
everlasting success.
Everlasting success, you have to be able to, work with other people. And while chasing your goals, right, to align with your life, right, you have to choose your environment that's going to allow you to do your best. And the only way that you know what environment is best for you is knowing what you want out of life, knowing who you are, and making the right choices to achieve those goals. And the people around you have to benefit you and keep you in the right mind space and headset to go do those things. Because if you're around a person that just wants to chill and party, but you want to go out there and try to figure out ways to be a businessman and to be better at business, that person is going to drag you down and telling you, like, oh, come on, let's chill today. You feel what I'm saying? But if somebody that is business minded just like you, like, oh, what can we do to put our heads together to get a better outcome, to be more efficient, and that's going to be an ongoing thing. It can't be, you
Ongoing
know.
is an important word. This
Yeah,
whole
exactly.
process is an ongoing process. You know, it's a continual process. It starts from when you really start being able to process the things that's going on around you. Like an 8 year old's not going to be able to actively think about the environment they're in and come to terms with the fact that they're in a bad environment. They come from a low income neighborhood. They're around a lot of people with real life struggles that leads them to do things that are not productive. An 8 year old can't won't understand that. An 18-year-old might. A 25-year-old is going to understand that way better than an 18-year-old, and so on and so forth. This is a continual process. I'm still implementing this process in my life. It's not concluding anytime soon. I'm sure you still are. I'm still trying to find the best case scenario in terms of what environment I want to be in. And the difference between one person and the next is some people they really never come to terms with that. They're like, all right, yeah, this is my boy. We grew up together, and they find themselves over and over again doing a lot of wasteful activities,
Exactly.
wasteful energy with that person, just because you have love for them, but you guys don't really have nothing in common, honestly, other than just that innate love for each other, and well wishes for each other. But other than that, there ain't nothing for you guys in between each other.
Yeah. And I would like to say this. They said that you're a product of your environment and you are who you hang around. Just know from the outside looking in, you're going to be judged by the people that you confide in the most, the people that you are seen in public the most, right? If you're around a bunch of people that are in suits, you could be a bum, but they're going to classify you as a successful person because you're around other successful people. But you can also be a bum, right? Dress in bummy clothes and be around other people that do the same, but your accounts could be looking real right and real different from other people, and they would never know that you have $100 million in your bank account. So at the end of the day, you need to know yourself, right? But you can't get wrong at other people for judging you in a certain way or assuming who you are by the way you present yourself and who you are around.
Yeah, I think that's a very important, point that you make too, because you watching this right now, I know you've judged someone before based off of who they hang around with, how they spend their time, where they spend their time, what they spend their time doing, what environment they voluntarily put themselves in. We've all done that, whether it's a partner we're trying to vet out or a, just a friend, like, oh, this person, I know he hangs around people who are no good or they're thieves. I bet you he must be a thief. So we all do it, and it's human nature. Like, we don't want to fight human nature. You don't have to lie to yourself and say, yeah, but just because he has four friends that are bad, it doesn't mean he's bad. Yeah, he might not be, but most likely he is. And if he has four friends that are good and doing well and, are respectful people and respectable people, then it's fair to assume that that fifth person is just like them as well. And we all do it, and we're going to continue to do it. It's part of human nature. You would be actually, I don't know how to say this nicely. I think you'd be an idiot not to do that. Like if I'm trying to figure out what type of person I'm dealing with and I see signs or I know people, we have mutual, acquaintances, and I know that those mutual acquaintances are his really close friends, and I know about them that they're not the best of people, they're not the most honest. I'm not gonna give him credit for being an honest person. He might later on down the road prove to me that he's an honest person, but off the rip, I'm gonna just assume he's just like him. If he
Exactly.
chooses to be around them all the time and to participate in the activities that they participate in, I could only assume he's like them. I would be an idiot. You would be an idiot to assume otherwise.
Yeah, and I would say this, like, and this is very simple terms for anybody to grasp. If you see a line, a line around a bunch of lions, you're gonna think it's a lion. Or if you see a sheep around other sheep, you're gonna think that they're sheep, right?
Absolutely.
It's just that simple. Wait, hold up. You're gonna think it's a bunch of sheep. So, is there anything that you wanna leave to the viewers that you wanna say?
Yeah, I think what I really want to leave everybody off with is just to constantly be mindful. Like I said, this is an ongoing process, so you don't want to ignore the signs when you're in a place that you don't feel welcomed, you don't feel your true self, you don't feel like you're getting the most out of the identity that you're trying to portray or you're trying to live out, when you feel like that, you have to acknowledge that. And also, in moments where you do feel like you're around the right people and these people bring out the best of you and you're your best self when you're in a situation or in a certain environment or around a certain group of people or a certain type of people, you also have to acknowledge that and come to reality and realize, all right, this is for me and this isn't for me. You know, you could use so many things as examples, whether it be religion, business. There's so many things you could touch on that are indicators of, all right, this is the place I want to be. This is the environment I want to surround myself in and put myself in. And you just got to come to terms with that. Stop being stubborn. The only way to improve and better yourself is to accept the fact that you haven't figured it all out.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to say that, and this is something very simple, you are judged by the weakest person inside of your group. Okay? You are judged by the weakest person inside of your group. Everybody could be a bag chaser, but if there's one person that's in your group that doesn't want to chase the bag, he's going to bring everyone else down. So everybody has to be on the same page, and you have to be in an environment that best suits you and your end goal in your life. So this is a question to all the viewers here, right? Is the people that are around you, or are the people around you right now on the same wavelength as you? Or how are the people around you benefiting your aspirations and goals for your life? Okay? This has been another episode of the Justin and No podcast, where we make knowledge your strongest weapon. Please, guys, subscribe to the channel, like this video for the algorithm, and comment below anything that you guys want us to talk about.
As always, we appreciate you guys. God bless. Peace.
Peace.